Hello everyone and welcome back to our bi-weekly report. The big news for this report is that we are looking for new people to join the Tank Encyclopedia team. Tank Encyclopedia is maintained by a passionate team of volunteers who make sure that you get the best possible articles with amazing illustrations and that the website actually works. We are looking for more people joining the Tank Encyclopedia team and helping us make this website even more awesome. If you have an interest in tanks and are willing to share your passion with the world, Tank Encyclopedia is the place for you. For more information, check the link in the description. For this episode's archive section, we have a bit from the British War Office Technical Intelligence Summary number 172 from April 11th, 1945, detailing the efforts by the U.S. Ninth Army to repair a water main in occupied Stolberg, Germany. The problem was that they had to close off all the faucets in the houses connected to the main, many of which had been shelled and abandoned. However, the retreating Germans had extensively mined the houses in order to hinder the advancing Allied troops. Two engineers, with the help of a civilian, worked on removing the mines, but unfortunately one exploded and killed the volunteering German citizen, leading to the demining effort being cancelled and the water supply simply being closed, including to the houses where German civilians were still living. Another casualty occurred when the driver of another team looking to repair electricity or telephone lines wandered in one of the houses and was killed by one of the mines despite the fact that there were warning signs about this. This whole story goes to show that war and death don't belong only on the front line, and the extent to which combatants will go to hurt or kill the enemy, even at the cost of putting in peril their own civilians. This time around in the gaming segment, we'll be taking a look at the results of the new Balance sandbox testing for World of Tanks, how they are going to affect the game, and some of the new content that will be coming along with them when they eventually make their way to the live servers. First up, the results. Feedback from the community and results gathered directly from the sandbox testing phase have shown that the proposed ammo type, health, and artillery changes are not, in their current state, fit to introduce to the live server. The changes to HE proved to be unintuitive, and removing the penetration values from them has been Wargaming's own admission been a mistake, while the testing for artillery has been disrupted by this uncertainty. However, the testing did reveal that armor-piercing shells for artillery were ineffective during the sandbox testing, which means that they will understandably need to be reworked before implementation. However, not every change tested was a failure. The changes to the tech tree, which were intended to streamline them and make them both easier to understand and less complex to progress through, were a success, and we now have confirmation that every vehicle from tiers 1 to 10, which are to be moved from the tech tree in this process, will be available for credits afterwards, so players will not have to rush to unlock them before they are moved. Similarly, the durability increases for low-tier vehicles had a positive effect on both progression and gameplay in the Tier 1 to Tier 4 bracket, and will also be introduced to the live servers. However, the final changes to HP for each vehicle are yet to be decided, and will be announced later on. Finally, we take a look at 3 new vehicles that will be taking their place in the reworked tech trees: the BT-5, T-6 Medium, and Cavalier for the Soviet, American, and British tech trees, respectively. The BT-5 will be introduced to the tech tree as the Tier 3 Soviet light tank, with a crew of 3, the commander, driver, and gunner. Much like the BT-type vehicles players are used to, it will be a mobile, punchy vehicle for its tier. The T-6 Medium will be introduced as the new Tier 4 American medium tank, with a crew of 5, commander, driver, gunner, loader, and radio operator. Replacing the M3 Lee, which many players found to be awkward due to its hull-mounted primary weapon, the T-6 will likely be a more comfortable transition through the American line. At last, the Cavalier, the new British Tier 5 medium tank, will serve to introduce players to the playstyle of the Cromwell and the Comet, featuring the same crew layout as the T-6 and a choice of guns that bridges the gap between the current Crusader and Cromwell. As always, more information on both the upcoming changes and historical information on the upcoming vehicles can be found at the links in the description. And now, on to this episode's featured articles. The first article we would like to share with you covers a Swiss acquisition, the Panzer 39. In the late 30s, the Swiss military was looking to replace its aging light tanks, the MFT-17 and the Panzer 34-35. Looking for a vehicle that had greater armor and firepower than the Panzer 34-35, a Swiss delegation visited several tank manufacturers, such as Krupp in Germany and Landsverk in Stockholm. Since they did not find a vehicle that met their requirements, they turned to the Czechoslovak company, CKD. CKD was currently producing the LTL to sell to Latvia and Peru, and it was decided that the tank could meet Swiss requirements with some modifications. CKD delivered 12 vehicles with the 119 horsepower Skoda Praga EPA engine, and Switzerland built another 12 fitted with the Swiss 110 power Sauer CT1 DSZ 1007 engine. They were all armed with weapons produced by the Waffenfabrik Bern, including the 24mm Panzerwagen Kanon 1938, the 7.5mm LMG 1925, and a pair of Panzerwagen Maschinengewehr 1938s. The three-man crew was protected by 32mm of armor on the front hull and turret. The tank could achieve speeds of 45 km an hour on road or 20 km an hour off-road. The Panzer 39 entered Swiss service in 1939 and was divided up amongst 6 tank detachments, with 4 tanks in each. In 1941, there were plans to upgun the Panzer 39 with the 4.7 cm Pak 41. But by the time the prototype turret and gun mounting were ready in 1945, the gun was already out of date. In late 1945, all Panzer 39s were fully relegated to training duty. Currently, there is a survivor in the Military Museum of Fulruental. This article is written by Joris Pierre and was illustrated by Adja Anagra with funds from our Patreon. The second article we would like to cover is the flame-throwing variant of the Jagdtiger. During World War II, Germany utilized man-portable versions of the flamethrower, as well as mounting them on vehicles such as the Panzer I, II, and III. However, the lack of sufficient armor and the short range of the flamethrower itself proved to be 2 large obstacles. The Maus was considered as a potential carrier of flame weapons, but when this project was ended in 1944, this meant another candidate would have to be found. This meant that the most heavily armored chassis at the time would be that of the Tiger II, specifically the Jagdtiger. Using a compressed nitrogen gas system similar to that of the Churchill Crocodile, a range of 140 meters was achieved, but still fell short of the desired 200-meter range. In addition, Jagdtigers were in short supply and needed for their anti-tank roles, so another prototype was planned using the hull of a Tiger I. This idea never came to fruition either, and the war ended before it could be built. Unfortunately, no prototypes of these vehicles or even drawings are known to exist. This article was written by Andrew Hills and was illustrated by C. Ryan with funds from our Patreon. Other articles include Man's Armored Steam Cart, the Ansaldo Light Tank Prototype 1931, Eichen's Main Battle Tank, Corey's Land Ironclad, and the Cobra Light Cross Country Combat Vehicle. That's all for this report. Make sure to follow our website. We'll be releasing new articles on the regular. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Reddit. If you use Discord, there's a link to our community server in the description. And if you'd like to help us continue to develop and expand, consider donating to our Patreon. All of the funds will be used to help us enhance and design new articles and features for you. And until next time, keep us in your sights.